Elon Musk was interviewed by billionaire Ron Barron, and Elon shared a number of important information. So what we did was we gathered the most important clips for you today.
So let's go away from the universe, back to Tesla again. As you said that...
Got to be back on ground here.
Back on ground. And so you said that our expertise is in making things better, faster, cheaper than other people. And when I started investing in Tesla, when we started investing in Tesla, you were telling us that it's the machine that makes the machine. That's most important. The machine that makes... So you were into machine learning, machine technology then, which is 15 years ago. And now the average car, I think, is 50 seconds, 40 seconds, 60 seconds, and we're now 35 seconds. Every 35 seconds, the car rolls off. And then you say that we're going to get down to 10 seconds, and you said it's a possibility we can go to 5. Every car is rolling off a line. How does that happen?
I certainly see a path to achieving a roughly 5,000 milliseconds or 5 seconds, which is only really walking speed. That's like sort of a fast walk. 1 meter per second is a fast walk. The car is less than 5 meters long. So 5 second cycle time, the cars will be exiting the line at walking speed. You can run away from them. It's not going to be like they're coming out like bullets or something. As a rough rule of thumb, 10,000 minutes in a week, if you run a 24/7 operation and you get, let's say, 10 cars per minute, and you get, let's say 10 cars per minute, you've got 100,000 cars a week.
So, but the question is, how come we're able to do this? Do other people just not care? Or they think that, gee, if I do something, if I have this idea and we try to implement it and it doesn't work, then I'm not going to get promoted, or I can get fired, or I'll get blamed. And if it works, then I'm going to have to do a lot of extra work that I wouldn't know how to do if it didn't work. So why don't other people have, a mindset of making things better? Why the Chinese, they've been great at copying us. And in some instances, probably even done better than us after they've copied the first time. But how come do you think that other people haven't been able to make the advances we have? And even the guy from Ford just recently said the people and the Chinese have copied us. And those people in China are doing great, which is really a compliment to us, because the reason they're doing great is because of us. Why doesn't he do that?
Most companies are incrementalists. The management team wants to do, 5%, maybe 10% better than last year, as opposed to take big risks that could fail. Obviously, I don't have a problem with risks.
Yeah, I say.
I like to use the tools of physics to analyze things. And, when I was in the factory one night and I was looking at the factory and I was like, this could be much more efficient, it could be much faster. Just rough math, trying to calculate the volumetric efficiency of the factory, to divide the factory into cubic meters and say how many cubic meters are doing something useful. And it's a surprisingly small percentage. So the volumetric density is not very good. And then the speed of the cars and the parts moving is quite slow, generally limited by the speed at which people can, say, attach brake lights or a seat or something like that. So you densify the factory and improve the volumetric efficiency, which is helpful for production efficiency because things have less distance to move. Just like a chip, you densify the circuits in a chip, you're more efficient. You think of a factory as a lot like a chip. How do you make a chip faster? Well, you bring circuits closer together, make them smaller, and you increase the clock speed.
Honestly, hearing Elon talk about making a car every 5 seconds, it feels almost unbelievable. Most car companies are still trying to upgrade their old factories. And meanwhile, here's Tesla talking about cars rolling off the line at walking speed, a car every 5 seconds. I don't know, that sounds pretty crazy, but with Tesla, it actually feels possible. What gets me is how calm Elon was when he explained it. I mean, he broke it down like it's just simple math and physics, not this huge dream. I think that's why it hits different. Tesla has already proven they can do things everyone else said were impossible, like making the Model Y the best-selling car in the world. If Tesla really reaches 5 seconds per car or even 10, it would totally change the auto industry. I don't know if any other company is thinking about production this way. This isn't just about faster factories, right? It's about creating a whole new way to build cars. And once Tesla perfects it, they can copy these super efficient factories like everywhere. So when Elon says there's a path to get there, I actually kind of believe him. Tesla usually meets their goals. And, even if it takes longer than expected, and if they pull this off, they're not just going to be the biggest EV company, they might become the most efficient manufacturer in the world. In this second clip, Elon tells his story and explains that the AI5 chip was actually in trouble. The program wasn't closing, it wasn't on a path to success, and was far more ambitious than anything Tesla had built before. So he said Tesla had two major chip programs running separately, right? The AI5 chip and the Dojo program. Both were struggling, so he collapsed them into one unified program, and he had everyone focus on the chip that truly matters. That's the inference chip that goes into the self-driving cars and Optimus.
So when you say you're working on weekends, I spend all my Sundays working on a chip. What does that mean? What do you do?
It's Saturdays, but sometimes Sundays actually. It's best. Recent weekends has been Sundays too. Yeah, just the AI5 chip, which is going to be a great chip. Well, Tesla hinges on that chip. That's the chip that will go into our next generation of self-driving cars, and it's also essential for the Optimus robot. So that chip program was in bad shape. It wasn't closing because it's quite an ambitious chip design, and it really wasn't on a path to success. And then we also had the Dojo program, which was also doing okay, but not on a path to be competitive with. So I collapsed the two programs into just one program, which is get everyone focused on the AI5 chip, which is essential. Continue to use NVIDIA for training, but we need the AI5 inference chip, it's a very powerful chip, but it's also a very low power. It doesn't use a lot of power. So its performance per watt is extremely good. We think, probably going to be at least 2 to 3 times better than NVIDIA in performance per watt at the inference level in the car and the robot. 10% of the cost of an NVIDIA chip. So these are very important numbers to achieve. And I had to get the chip program back on track, so we'll invest amount of time into it. And at this point, I have the entire physical design of the chip laid out in memory. I can visualize the whole thing.
But when you're talking about chip manufacturing, you say we might have to build, presumably we would have a partner with TSMC or with Samsung. We wouldn't do this by ourselves. And those guys have been doing this we would do it by ourselves. And these are things that cost $20 billion, $30, $40 billion. And where do the people come from to do this? How could we not have partners? Well, it's going to be 10 years. There's not going to be enough chips in the world to accomplish what we're trying to do.
Yeah, first of all, I have much respect for TSMC and Samsung. And we've worked with both TSMC and Samsung at Tesla and at SpaceX. So TSMC and Samsung are great companies. And we want them to make our chip as quickly as they can and scale up to as high as possible volume that they're comfortable doing. It doesn't appear to be fast enough. When I ask how long will it take from start to finish to get a new chip fab built, they tell me 5 years to get volume production. I'm like, 5 years to me is an eternity. My timelines.
To me too, by the way.
1 year, 2 year. And at year 3, scale it reels to infinity. So we can't even see past 3 years. So then I'm like, damn, okay, this is not going to be fast enough. So now, if they change their minds and say, yeah, they want to provide us with, 100, 200 billion AI chips a year in the time frame that we need them, that's great.
What Elon's doing with this chip program is absolutely next level. Most car companies, they're just going to buy the off-the-shelf AI chips and they're going to call it a day. Tesla's designing their own from scratch. I mean, that just shows you how serious they are about self-driving cars and robots. So what really blew my mind is how Elon can visualize the entire chip in his head. I mean, I can barely picture my own desk in 3D. He's memorizing a whole computer chip layout. That's the kind of focus and understanding. That's what lets Tesla push limits other companies can't even imagine. So if this chip works like he says, right, super powerful, super efficient, cheap, it could completely change the game. Self-driving cars could get smarter, faster, cheaper. Optimus robots could actually become practical. I mean, that is why, hopefully, Tesla isn't just another company. They're basically inventing the future one chip at a time. In the final clip here today, Elon Musk just gave one of the clearest explanations yet of where full self-driving stands today and why Tesla is now confident enough to finally expand vehicle production again. So the numbers he shared show FSD has crossed a major threshold.
To go to FSD, we don't have too much more time, but FSD, full self-driving, we're making these tremendous breakthroughs, it seems. And you said recently that you didn't want to expand capacity for making cars until you were convinced that that was the case. You are now convinced that's the case. And yes. Again, here, we're making these exponential leaps in these cars. And you said that a very large percentage of people who've actually paid for full self-driving don't use it, have never tried it before.
Yes, that's pretty well.
Yeah, how we do it? How
find something you want to try it?
It's amazing.
Yeah. So we're now kind of insisting with customers for safety reasons that we demonstrate full self-driving, because the numbers are unequivocal at scale that with now over 10 billion miles driven, that it's 4 times on full self-driving than not. So it's actually a big improvement in safety. At this point, we're just insisting that we at least demonstrate self-driving to customers so they know how to use it and turn it on for safety reasons.
So full self-driving drives just like a person, as opposed to having to code to look for every circumstance that would happen for someone walking his dog while he's driving along. You have to identify everything with a code. What AI does, what we do, is as I understand it, is to make sure that it's just like us. Is that fair?
Yes. The key to achieving full self-driving much safer than a human is improving the AI software in the car. We're confident that the AI hardware, that's the chip that we designed, currently made by Sam, is capable of achieving a safety level unsupervised, meaning if you're asleep in the car, at least 2 to 3 times that of the average driver, maybe more. And then with AI 5, we think you can achieve probably a 10x improvement in safety. So these are really big deals. I mean, I think it's like one of the very profound things that I'm saying here. And I really encourage people to go out there and try Tesla self-driving and see for yourself. You can just go to any Tesla store, they'll show it to you, It's not a secret.
What you just heard, it's one of the biggest signals Elon has ever given Tesla investors. So first, the confidence. Elon didn't say, we hope to get to autonomy. He said the hardware in the cars right now can already reach 2 to 3 times human safety, even unsupervised. And then hardware 5, that's going to take it to 10 times. I mean, that alone should reset Tesla's valuation floor. Second, Tesla has 10 billion real-world FSD miles. No competitor is even in the same universe. I mean, this data advantage will compound. It's going to accelerate everything. Third, the fact that many owners paid for FSD but never even turned it on, I think actually means that there's a huge reservoir of untapped demand. Now, Tesla is requiring demos for every customer, which I think means usage should and is about to spike. That's going to feed the data flywheel again and again. And finally, when Ron Barron highlighted this, when he said Tesla isn't coding rules, it's teaching the car to drive like a human, that really is the only approach that scales. Tesla's years ahead. I think this is the inflection point. Tesla isn't just selling cars anymore. It's on the doorstep of deploying full autonomy. And if Elon is right, the entire business model is about to transform.